Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's live SEO question and answer session, sponsored by 38 Digital Market. Press releases for everyone's budget. The link is below. Mr. Randy Roday's gig, one of the best around. So do check that out, guys. And should we just start without Craig and Chris? That was going to be my next thing. It's his fault that we're late.
Of course.
It's his fault. It always is his fault. So
because I'm always like, okay, when I see Craig and then I can't wait till the end. I'm like, Craig, got some questions for you.
So yeah, Chris is trying to pinch some knowledge bombs in the back. He comes first. But yeah, we're here to answer your questions, guys. So do put them in the chat. We do have Mr. Aaron Semenov, Sonia, Stephen Buchanan, Growth Suffers. It's only just come on. Yes, apologies. It's Palmer's fault.
It is.
Not too much. 3 clocks and still late. It's Slotty, it's fucking Palmer. I fucking couldn't even say hello. I've got something to ask you.
I did. He's like, Chris, wait a minute. Yeah, I was waiting to get with you.
You've been waiting to get so pounced on me.
Like, I saw those shorts, man. I was impressed. I'm like, how are you doing that?
Sadly, there was no secret to give him. It's wee Sam in my office who does that stuff. So I would like to take credit for it. It ain't me who does the shots and stuff, but hey, it is what it is. Loud Egg, Joe, Islam, what's up? Solar Cleaning King. We have the questions popping in quite fast today. So keep the questions coming, folks. We want this to be quick, easy, and productive. So, Chris, last week you said you used GSA to power up press releases and pre-existing links. Could you kindly explain your reasoning behind this choice?
Yeah, it never shuts off, actually, on some projects. It doesn't shut off. It's always consistently running. And I think we're paying for 2 lists where it's just Dropbox, auto loads, and just keeps running. The reasoning behind this is to, in a nutshell, increase the power that we're already receiving without harming our website. A lot of times your PRs, your citations, some citations, not all, they can take the abuse. So that's why we want to do that. I don't want to take, if I'm getting guest posts or I purchase Haro links or I get onto a private blog, I don't want to harm someone's website. Now, if it's a big brand like a digital journal or something, I don't have as much of a problem sending links, especially thousands of links to that particular page, right? Plus, I know they're going to purge, so we want to get power to them, get more to it, and that's it. Plus, it increases the relevance down the line, because of the anchor text. You're building another tier. So, and I always like to power up the stuff that we're building. So it's cheap, it's fast, it's effective, and that's why.
One moment, Chris.
Sure.
I need to turn something off on the TV. My son's watching some fucking annoying guy on YouTube. I need to switch this off.
Is it Steve and Maggie? All right. And then as far as that GSA, the press releasing and pre-existing links. So let's talk about that. So pre-existing links, we're primarily focused on, depending on which site it is the lowest equity. So depending on the metric that you like, whether it's DR, whether it's TF, I'm looking for the lowest authority links that we can increase power, especially if we're looking on Majestic and we can see that it's in the right category. We want to get power to those. Usually I'm not going to take the time to look depending on the client. We're just going to run just for time, but that's what we're looking for. If it's just your site, that's what I would look for. What's a niche specific that's a low equity or a really high authority link? That's where you want to allocate that GSA to. And then be very brutal with the anchor text. Keep it hyper specific. Like don't Don't let it choose or crawl pages. Like, be very specific. Brand, naked, very specific on anchor text. Don't want to mess that up.
Good.
Right?
I've got a question. Does little Chris ever watch this shit on YouTube? There's a guy on there called King Zippy, and the guy pretends to be the mum, the gran, the uncle, the little brother, and he's just got the most fucking annoying voice, and he screams all the time. And my son's in the room there, he's not even watching it, but I can't sit on a fucking...
You're right. Not that dude specifically, but when I hear or see something that I don't like, I go, because I only give him the YouTube Kids. I'm sure you do the same.
No.
I'll go in and block the whole channel. If it's gaming or anything stupid that's not productive, if it's tension relieving and not goal achieving, I go in there and block it. It's got to be stay focused or get it out of here.
Charlie doesn't respond well to the kids' YouTube. He wants the bad stuff, man. Dude, he's fucking...
My little guy. Well, he's progressing fast. I'm trying to. It's hard. You're always on it though. Like, I'm always like, what are you watching there? You're feeding that. It's like music. You're feeding your brain that. I don't want to. Like, don't feed my kid that crap. You know what I mean?
But anyway, LinkedIn user, what are the best website structures for an SEO-friendly website? It's a very, very broad question. We're we talking URL structure, silo structure, fucking, like, what structure do you mean? Like a design structure? An SEO-friendly website, I would assume URLs, and good topical clusters, silo structure, call it what you fucking like, are really, really important. Good internal linking structure, again, also important. But anything you can add to that, Chris?
No, it's very broad. If you be more specific, you'll get more out of us. But I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. If it's URL structure, topical cluster, internal linking, let us know and we'll try and answer it more specifically. Tonya, have you ever tried to use just one domain for all your T2 pages? Just don't say it's a bad idea.
So yes and no. Like, I never sought out to just do that, but one at a time, not just one for all. And all for one, but one at a time. Have I focused on, okay, hey, I'm going to build out something that's hyper specific. I'm going to build it up, get some traffic, power it up, and then move on to the next asset. This can also be called a mini net or a mini PBN or some sort. I've built very niche specific PBNs for people, like 5 to 10 sites, where we were allocating a lot of the resource, the budget, towards those sites. Yes. So not just one, no.
There you go. Hopefully you have an answer there, Tonya. Islam, how to show a new website in Google News fast?
In Google News, well, Madge has a phenomenal little training on that type. That's been covered extensively. Plus, believe it or not, Google gives the formula. It's all laid out. They even have videos on how to do it and get it in there. As far as getting the pages seen, getting the sitemaps in there, a couple Google searches, you will have your answer, my friend.
I think if you go to magicpr.com, he does have a paid training course on it. What I will say is Madge got my website, my YouTube, my LinkedIn, my Twitter, all in the Google News. So follow what he's got to say on that. Joe Marici. So in today's mastermind call, we've done a specific call for Joe. Fake personas, proxies, but he now wants your take on it. He's going down the rabbit hole of proxies and fake personas. Do you use Ghost Browser, Incognition, or any others for fake personas, Chris?
Loud egg. Chris, do you use Ghost Browser, Incognition, or any others? I do use Incognition. And I I do feel it's valuable to utilize Proxies, so much so that I took the time to build my own network. So yes, I mean, I use Incognition though. I really like the feature where we can change out geo-specifics. We can also save cookies and we can transfer cookies. Plus the price is right. The only thing that keeps me away from Ghost and or Browsio is the cost. Another really good service is there's a gentleman out there. I think it's Garrett, the guy, the CTO.
Yeah.
He's got, he has a really cool tool. What's that called?
Session Splitter.
That's a hot one. I really like that tool. I think it's a lot more, price is a lot more fair, but you can get a lot of those types of features with Incognition, and two, even their paid level is really good. So yeah. And then as far as Proxies, moving forward, I'm going to stick with just mobile. Now that I have it, I've allocated 10 to myself. So, you know, I was buying them through RS Socks, but they got taken down. That guy was super cool. I always wondered how he had such great proxies for such a low cost, but and plus like the most diverse range of IPs. It was insane. So, but now I know why. But yeah.
So just to give a little more detail on this, Joe is just fucking around just now testing shit, and what he wants to do is, I know he's went down the rabbit hole of Ghost Browser, and he wants to just fuck around with some CTR manually. Don't ask me why, because obviously there's tools that do it automated, but he just wants to fuck around manually anyway, because that's just what Joe likes to do. Would you recommend still using mobile proxies?
Just for messing around?
Yeah, it's all on local stuff. Yeah, it's just for fucking around on GMB stuff, local stuff.
Yeah, I mean, or set it up yourself. I think mobile is probably the most premium. I mean, if there are some services out there though, if you're in like a larger city, I think high quality residential rotating that is going to be geo specific. There's services out there that offer this. I think that's a quality solution as well. But only if you're in New York, Miami, Los Angeles, depends on where you're at. So
he's in Long Island, so
New York, perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. Golden. Residential, there's some really good services out there. So I'd go looking for geo-specific pools that are going to be related to New York. That way, when your ISPs, the ISPs are coming out of New York. Yeah. That's what I'd go for.
I think we found the proxy provider that I recommended, he just got contact, and they're able to give him some New York ones. So that's useful. But
Joe, in 2 days, if you want to test out mobile at $40 a piece, let me know.
2 days. 2 days time.
Yeah, I'm setting up the cart right now to be able to help people. So that's the goal. 2 more days.
I was telling, as I say, I was telling others in the mastermind today about I didn't know if it was live or not, but I says go speak to Palmer and see what he's got when it's live. So
yep.
Proxy, check it out, Joe.
Pixie.
Proxy.
I thought everyone spelled Proxy Proxy. Not the case. Proxy Pixie. Yep. There you go.
Anyway, Tonya, if a build only links to the homepage with only brand name as anchor, will it stop working at some point, or will it move the needle indefinitely?
So the building the links to the homepage is fine. However, depending on what you're doing and what the overall goal is, generally the top level pages that are in the directories, the subdirectories, are going to be more beneficial. So like if you're a lawyer, it's going to be your truck accident lawyer page, or if you're a pest control Orlando, right? Whatever it is, I don't know. So the problem in building all your links to the homepage is not only am I internally linked across the entire site back to the homepage, So not only am I screaming internally that the homepage is valuable, but if I start building all my links to the homepage, now my external votes coming in are saying, hey, the homepage is most valuable. And what you'll run into in local is then the homepage is ranking for all kinds of stuff, and I can't get my pages to pop. So and then as far as anchor text is concerned, naked and brand are probably the two that I would stick with. I think you're clean and clear right there. That's probably fine. I think you need a level of exact match and variation depending on the top performer and what Google's rewarding. But brand and naked is always cleanest, in my opinion. But no, don't aim everything at the homepage. You're going to hinder your performance as time progresses. We want to focus our attention on internal votes and external coming in, going to the pages that we want to rank. That's it.
Simple and easy. Tonya also asks, any advice on content pruning for a website with over 100,000 pages?
Sure. Just ran into this, not 100K pages, but go into Ahrefs or SEMrush, whatever you use. Ahrefs for this particular instance seems to have I think it has a nicer layout for this particular instance, but what we're going to do is we're going to lay out all the pages and we want to take a look. What's a double zero? Zero equity as far as referring domains, and where's the traffic? The first pruning action is going to be get rid of the double zeros, right? Because a lot of people will go back and double optimize pages and do all this, but generally what I have seen is when you put something up, you can go back and mess with it as much as you want, but if it doesn't go, it's probably not going to go, right? It's out of your range. Like you're either going for a keyword that's too hard, you don't have enough links, you're not optimized, it's not right? So prune out the pages that are double zeros, retune the pages that are getting a trickle of traffic, and then make sure that they're properly siloed. That's what I would do. Ahrefs, double zeros, out of here. And then as far as making sure that it's clean, what I would do is I would go into the HTA access file and set those pages to 410, update my sitemap, robots, I'm giving you the optimal way. Robots, no index, no follow. And then of course you can do the outdated if you want to as well in Google Search Console. That's it.
Making me cough, but hopefully that helps you, Tonya. Islam, could you redirect an old domain in Google News to a new website that will help include this website in Google News fast? I don't think that's the case, but I've not done a lot of testing specifically on that. But
no,
you
can't pass the verification, So you still have to get verified. It still has to be vetted. It still has to go through Google's little process, and two, the problem with the redirects is you can pass link equity, but you can't pass page age, and that's a huge problem.
Yeah. Tonya has another question. Have you ever tested whether MX domain records are a positive ranking factor or any other DNS records? You ever tested something like that?
Not DNS, but when you're setting up the file folder names, I have tried to optimize that and saw if it gave me a boost for the keywords that I stuck in there. Like say you're setting up your main directory in WordPress or whatever, putting the keywords in there and then seeing like, hey, did I index fast on these? But not DNS, no. Or MX.
I can't see that being a hugely weighted thing. Can't, but hey, what does
let us know? Yeah.
What does everyone really know? What's been your most aggressive bet in SEO that's paid off?
Allocating the years to myself to grow my agency. Doing what I had to do no matter what every single day, even though it wasn't paying off. And even though everyone around me was telling me, dude, you're out of your mind. That was it. Like, what are you doing, Chris? I heard so many people tell me that. Like, nah, don't worry. But yeah,
will come good somehow.
I think that was the most aggressive, you know.
My most aggressive would be pivoting away from agency or client work to doing affiliate and doing what I do now is probably a decent bet, make a lot more money, a lot more stress. So in terms of a payoff, financially, it's worked well in my favor, and mentally also worked in my favor. So that's mine. But it wasn't a quick fix. That's for sure. But doing a backlink audit primarily through Ahrefs, have 16,000 backlinks, probably spammed. Any typical metrics to bulk find bad backlinks aside from low DR and things like referring domain, link domain, etc.?
See, this is the issue. No matter which tool or how well versed you are, we're not Google, right? Whether it's a tool or whether it's a seasoned SEO pro, and they say, "Oh, that's toxic, that's bad, that's good, that's not." We're still not Google, and we don't know what Google's looking at, what they're rewarding, and what they're not, right? But as far as guarantees are, if the category is wildly off and it's low authority, out of here. If it's anything to do with XXX or pharmacy, it's out of here. Some gaming things we can get around, but if it's blatant like poker or, you know, casino, you know, we can't rock with that. So yeah, I generally am not. I think Google overlooks a lot of stuff. Like, you know, what do you think, Craig?
I mean, for me, when I'm asked questions like this from people, you know, unless you're being spammed to death, like I have been,
Me too.
do I really give a fuck about the bad backlinks that are there? You know, would I go about disavowing them? Do I want to find them? Yes, of course. You know, I've done disavows if I'm being spammed to death and looking at Chinese anchor text and, you know, things like that. Other than that, you know, even a shitty little DR7 or a DR10, it's probably passing some little bit of value. So why would I want to get rid of it? Just let it be. Google will decide what it wants to filter out, you know, and pass value to. So I don't really go down that route of looking at these things, you know, unless I'm being spammed to death. So I wouldn't be doing Google's job for them and trying to clean up a backlink profile, you know, and cleaning out the garbage. You know, I'm not the garbage man. So I've always stayed clear of that unless I've, you know, been under pressure. So, I mean, you can do exactly as you said, you know, use a common sense approach, you know, try and get rid of some of the shit. You know, some ropey SEO's done stuff and use shitty anchors and all that. Of course, you can go through and look at all the kind of stuff. But again, it's a manual, tedious task. Can Google just ignore most of it? I believe they can. So, yeah, it's that would be my answer on it.
Yep.
Tonya, what are the most common site-wide soft penalties when all your pages lose some % of keyword and positions?
Most common algorithmic penalties is when you're trying to stuff variations, like lawyer and attorney, lawyer, attorney, lawyers, attorneys. I see a lot of algorithmic issues with that. I'm trying to stuff them all in there. It's either you want to go for lawyer, or you want to go for attorney. You want to go for pest control or pest control service. Pick one. You want to, you know, you want to go for sell my house, or you want to go for we buy. Like what is it? So that's what I see a lot of times. Other algorithmic penalties are not catching. You'll see nesting, or pages. For instance, that pops in. Let's say it's a truck accident, and then you have a page for 18-wheeler or semi-truck, right? When you go inside a search console, we can see that these pages are ranking for the same thing. and they start fighting, kind of, in a way. That's an algorithmic penalty. If you start seeing nesting, or I see, okay, my main page is up at number 4, but I have my secondary pages are number 7 or number 13. You know, if I start seeing that click percentage going up on these secondary pages, I detune those pages. Google's like giving you the hint, like, hey, you better clean this up. Yeah. What do you think, Craig? What else?
Common site-wide penalties, again, going back to basics, shit content. It is a soft penalty, if you like. You know, but there's loads of them, like, you know, the top 5 this, the best that. You know, a lot of these all kind of got slammed. I wouldn't say they were soft penalties as such. You know, I think they were pretty fucking harsh, to be fair.
Yeah, the groups went in there and slapped everybody. Here, line up, everybody.
Slapped all over the place. But, you know, obviously that did result in people losing a massive percentage of their keywords and positions. So I think, you know, the intent of the search, you know, if someone's looking for information, provide them with information. I think Google's just evolved and becoming a lot cleverer. So if you're going to hit them with some sales pitch on when someone's looking for information, then, you know, they're not going to show that. And, you know, you can call that a soft penalty or whatever you want. So I think a lot of it comes down to common sense now. You know, over the years, we've all been jackasses and tried to ram everything, like you say, Chris, ram everything in there, try and capture all the fucking keywords. Yep. And Google's not going to reward you for everything. Let's just say that. You know, they're going to reward you with something if you offer value, but don't be greedy. You know, it's not just you that's out there to earn a living, and Google are going to show, you know, your competitors as well. So try and not grab too much of the pie, because I think for me, Chris, if I was giving out stuff, you know, recognition or whatever you want to call it, and you've seen some greedy bastard eating it all up. Let's use Darren Muzzy, for example. Let's say he's trying to suck up everything and he's cheating. You're just going to fucking push him right down. You know, stop taking the piss, Darren. You're fucking trying to take all the money off the table here and leave nothing for anyone else. And I think that's what us as SEOs do. And, you know, if I was Google, I'd be going, nah, fuck you, Chris Palmer. You can fuck off, you greedy bastard. Give someone else a chance. That's kind of how I see it. So I think you make a valid point here. Don't try and capture every keyword and stuff like that as well. So take your pick that was the most search volume and run with it.
Yeah, I just had that issue specifically. I was being greedy. Google said, no, Chris.
Here. Tonya, do your kids know what you do for a living? Do you teach them SEO? Mine's is too young, has no clue what SEO is. And I'm not sure I would teach him SEO, to be fair. Teach him something that's less of a pain in the ass.
Yeah. He knows that, I work on websites and I work for Google, but no, I don't, you know, I'd chat with him, but no. He's like, wanna fly a kite, you know?
Let them be kids.
Yes, exactly.
Gross Suffer says, Tonya has hijacked the chat. Lots of questions coming, but Tonya says they can save all the questions during the week on a notepad.
I'll keep them coming.
All answered. Why the hell not, Tonya? We need more people who do that. But that interesting logo, says Loud Egg. Heinrich, good to see you, dude. What tools will you use to audit a site with over 1 million pages?
I've never ran into this specific issue, but what I generally use for auditing websites is Sitebulb.
Sitebulb's my tool of choice. You've also got others, OnCrawl, DeepCrawl, but the costs start to go through the roof, and obviously for doing something of that magnitude, it could cost you a fair few quid. I think you're trying to get the balance of price and stuff like that.
Price and value. Yeah.
Yeah.
Juggling
trying
act.
to get that. But for me, I do, when I audit a website, I will run SiteBulb. I will also run SEMrush. And if there's a lot of shit going on with the website and I'm trying to dig around, Screaming Frog as well. Just don't run all three at the same time, or you'll fucking have the website fucked.
I agree with that SiteBulb. I think it was you or Clint Butler that recommended that to me. Screaming Frog, I was going, tab by tab, going through everything, but SiteBulb, it's
laid out.
Great tool.
Yeah. Darren Muzzy says you have an echo. I think it's Palmer's side.
Really?
I heard it. No, it's all right now. It's fine now. But earlier there was an echo. When I was talking, I could hear myself.
Is it okay now?
No, it's gone now. It's gone now.
Move the mic over.
Fruit Bat Cat. We'll blame Palmer's side, even if it was mine anyway. Fruit Bat Cat. Any advice on plugins or methods for importing a very large amount of data into WordPress from a CSV file? Have a plugin in mind, but wondered if you had any recommendations before I pull the trigger. What type of data are you trying to input first and foremost? Let us know that.
CSV, it sounds like a cron job of some sort you could set up. I think I would, me personally, like if I ran into this issue, I would just walk over to Fiverr and find somebody that, somebody that's good with WordPress, or somebody that knows something to do with cron jobs or PHP or Python, and say, hey, can you fix this for me? That's me though. Yeah. Because you could spend a whole day. Don't you hate that? And then you're reading this article and this, and then you implement, it doesn't work. You got to rewind, and then you go back. Like, we're in a whole day.
No, it's a pain.
Lay down the $100 to have somebody hook you up.
Yeah. Guys out there that do that shit for fun.
Yep.
Islam.
I don't know the answer though. Sorry.
You've talked about a course for Google News. Could you please add the link in the chat, as I couldn't find it? It's magicpr.com. It doesn't allow us to put links in the chat all of the time. It doesn't show up to everyone because I've disabled that so that people can't spam the chat. But magic, as in magic tricks, and pr.com. What advice? Let me know if you get that, Islam. If not, ping me on social media, one of the things, and I'll send you the link through there after the live stream. Heinrich, what advice would you give to someone if you want to start a new website without buying backlinks? What tips will you give? Use an H domain that has a backlink profile, if money allows. But have you, Chris, ever launched a project where, money? We've all been there. Money's been tight. Can't really afford the backlinks. Can you get decent gains from just on page alone?
Definitely. Yes. I think with a proper content plan that has a high velocity, along with proper internal linking, and so your keyword research, your on page, and your internal linking has to be on point, but you could definitely find success without having to allocate budget towards links. I think as you get to the harder terms, you may want to reconsider that, but at first, nothing wrong with that.
But I think age domain is what I'd be looking for. Expired domains. Cheap leverage there. So consider that as well, Heinrich. Loud Egg says, sign me up, Chris. I can test. So Joe will abuse. Actually, I bought Proxies before, my own Proxies rig, and my mate fucking sends me a WhatsApp and he's like, dude, I'll test your proxies for you. I went, will you fuck? They'll be fucking burnt out in no time. I don't need any SEO testers, but be careful who you let test.
Well, I could set, I could set data limits for testing.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
there's some animals there that I know would fucking blow them, use all the data, burn everything out, man. I don't even know what these guys do, but they can burn shit out. I know that much.
Well, I was running Scrapebot. I ran a couple tools all at once just to see, like, okay, what's going on. So I have a general gauge of what I consider to be heavy use and what it takes. So I'll be able to quickly know if somebody's up to no good.
I'm still laughing. There was a guy that owns a SaaS tool that you spoke to who said to you, don't tell Craig about this tool.
Yes.
Burn it out. I'm like, why the hell have I got that reputation? I don't burn shit out. I'm a cautious guy. But,
yeah. Very cautious.
I'm a cautious guy, man. I don't blow shit up.
No.
Google News needs a dynamic sitemap. Joe says, people always tell me I'm out of my mind. They're usually right. He very much is. I would agree, Joe. I must add, I'm selling a site. This is purely for vanity and boosting DR.
Nobody sees that except for like guys like us. Like,
I'm freaked that you don't want to be buying your website anyway because they're just going to haggle you down and down and down and pick all sorts of faults. Sell to someone who doesn't know.
Yes.
As much.
People want traffic. And what keywords are you ranking for? What's the traffic value? Links, DR score? Not necessarily. It's helpful, but I'd rather have something that has a low amount of clean links, but it's on its way. It's like in that nice climb towards some really good keywords. I'd rather that. Yeah, that's me though. I've bought both though, for sure.
Konya, so you spoke earlier, Chris, about lawyers, attorneys. How do you choose one if it's not obvious?
So if it's not obvious, well, what really helps it along in some cases I've noticed is, well, what were they putting out in their citations or on directories, or what's in their name? What's the primary business category? Things along those lines. Also too, like if I'm looking at, say it's a new website and I'm looking at a majority of the pages, what are the majority saying? Some are attorneys, some are lawyers, but then the really creme de la creme is I go into Search Console and what is Google rewarding me with? Like, what are my highest viewed keywords? And then I look on the list. If it's lawyers, if the majority is coming from lawyer-based terms, we're going lawyer. If it was attorney, I would have rocked with attorney. So that's usually what it is right there. I go and see what's Google think the site's about. It's lawyers? Okay, we're a lawyer.
That's a good way to do it. What does Google think they are? Islam, what is the best way for backlinks indexing?
Time. I think time and patience, and don't look at the last ones. Keep building.
Keep building. Don't try and force it.
Yeah, if it doesn't get seen or doesn't get indexed, then those pages weren't getting crawled and they weren't being seen. Do you want those anyway? Something that I have to force in. Do I want that? Yeah. There's no value. The reward for doing a good job is traffic. There has to be. Does Google see it? Yes or no? And two, just because you don't see it in search results doesn't necessarily mean that I haven't gotten credit. So don't spend time or budget looking at old links. Just keep building. That's my best advice.
Moving. Would it be a good idea to take a list of 500 keywords a page is ranking for and use them in GSA as link anchors pointing at tier 2?
Not necessarily. I think I don't think there's any one way on anything I say, right? But as far as I'd be concerned, I want to improve the overall relevance around the brand and the primary keyword and variations that I want to win. So if I want to build relevance up, it's going to be hyper focused around the brand, primary keywords, variations, and or commonly used words when we're talking about my primary keywords. That's what I would focus on. And an anchor isn't necessarily one word or two words or three words. It doesn't have to be a phrase. Especially in GSA, it could be a paragraph that encompasses a lot of different words and a lot of relevance. So that's where I would focus my attention.
Tonya goes on to say, I used to rank a page without any links, internal and external, on a new non-exact match domain. Got to position 11 on a medium competition keyword. It is possible. Good job.
Good job, but where I'm from, 11 isn't ranked. But I mean that in the nicest way. Rank is 1, 2, 3. But or top 5. But, yeah. But 11 with no links. Yeah. I have lots of 11s. They don't do much for me.
The phone never rings when you're in 11.
I know. It's got to be like, I mean, I'll take position 2 or 3. I'll take a 5. But pretty much once you get into the volatile zone, the hopping around is so, like you might search it and you might be number 5. But then when you search it a minute later, okay, I'm 7. Like in that range, 5 down, they're freaking bouncing all over. I hate that. Yeah.
Not fun. Not fun.
Not at all.
But guys, we still have 19 minutes left. If you've got any questions, please do put them in the chat. But more importantly, please do give us a like on the video. Engagement is super important. So make sure you bash the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And also to his channel as well. But get that out there as well.
Second note.
There is engagement. But Facebook user, your name's not coming up, so we'll call you Facebook user. If you have a brand new blog and you have 600 articles to publish, is it okay to do them as fast as possible? Now, there's a few keywords in there. Brand new blog. How have you got 600 articles to publish so quick? Would it look natural for a brand new website to have 600 articles blasted out ASAP? I think it's
insane.
It's a stupid thing to do.
It would be okay if next week you have another 600, and the week after that you have another 600, and then the week after that you got another 600. I think your velocity of content needs to be something that you can keep up with. 600 is a lot. 50, I think, is a lot. I mean, if you're doing 4 a week, that's cooking.
I would certainly, with a new website, put up a bunch of articles, like 50, whatever, and then I would just start to drip feed the rest out and watch things index. And my concern is where the 600 articles came from. Now, if you put up 50 and they don't work, is there any point in putting up the other 550? The content could be shit. I'm not saying it is. As long as you find that stuff sticking and the formula you're using to get that 600 articles is working, then drip feed it on for as long as you can. But I think velocity, making it look natural, feeding Google what it wants, which of course they claim to love new content. So just drip, I would be drip feeding it on. That's always my way of doing things. But yeah. Each to their own. There'll be other people who say, nah, whack them all up. But as Chris says, if you don't have another 600 to back it up, then be very careful. I do know the guys at Niche Website Builders, they were doing a case study, and I think their plan was to put out 2,000 articles this year on a project. Now, they were initially going out with 200 or 300, and then it's going to be every couple of months, there's just going to be the same again, until they get to the 2,000 or whatever. So we'll see how that goes. But there's nothing wrong. You can be fully aggressive. There's websites that go out there that add way more than that. as well. But as long as it's getting crawled and indexed and ranking and traffic, that's the key part. No point in going to all that trouble and none of it fucking sticks. Tonya says, just sprinkle that without links, position 11, with some magic link juice. I certainly would be. Position 11 for a decent keyword. Why not smash a few links at it and see what happens?
That's right.
The best part about ranking without links first is those positions stick. Says Tonya. And it's Guy Levi, the Facebook poster, out in...
I know him.
Sunny Dubai. I met him a few months back for a beer. Nice guy.
Nice guy.
But yeah, he's out in Dubai, so makes me jealous. So F you, guy.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here in fucking 4 degrees in Glasgow.
Those pictures though, like it's like really cool on like a little island, and then when you look out, it's like desolate. You know,
yeah.
It's really cool right there. That's about it.
But yeah, you've slowed down with the questions, guys. 15 minutes left. Pile in. Don't wait till the last minute.
Yeah, Tanya, don't worry. You're not overtaken. Keep them coming. I was having fun.
We just want fast, short, sharp answers that makes the time go past a lot quicker. So batter them in to the live chat because we'll get 14 minutes and we'll get there. But Honey is asking, is Black Hat link building still work in 2023? The first thing, Honey, any link building is seen as Black Hat. Any link building one link can be seen as Black Hat. So, Chris, what is your definition of fucking this Black Hat thing?
Black Hat to me is illegal. So I think niche edits, that kind of thing, that's Black Hat, in my opinion. You know, these inserts on some types of sites, that's Black Hat. Yeah. I think a lot of the other stuff like the redirects, guest posts, PBNs, that's more of in the gray area, you know? Black Hat is anything that's really against the rules, like real rules, not Google rules, in my opinion. And then as far as the hat thing, I mean, the objective is to generate dollars for the business and for your family. So if I need to bend Google's little rules to do that, I'm going to do it. That's me, though.
Little Chris needs some toys.
Little Chris needed new kicks. That's it, man. It's either, yep. Google's rules, Little Chris's shoes. Little Chris wins.
It's a good way of looking at it, though. You've got to put food on the table, and that's all there is to it. That's the way I see it. And people deem me as a Black Hat guy, and I've had a lot of people going, "Oh," I actually had a guy saying to me, he watched a podcast I was on recently, and I was talking about buying and selling digital assets and all that stuff. And they went, "It was really nice to hear you, Craig, the entrepreneur, rather than the dodgy Black Hat guy." And I'm like, I don't set out to be some dodgy Black Hat thing. I've done things, play with things, but that's not what I do. You know, that's so far from what I do. You know, the job is to do as much of it as you possibly can. So I'm not a huge fan of the Black Hat terminology, but sometimes you get tarnished with a brush and have to ride with it. So it is what it is. But Mario, the hair and nails guy, he hates it when we call him the hair and nails guy. Mario, the Eastern European, just so you get the picture, Chris, Eastern European, in my mastermind, he's got the butch voice and strong, stocky guy. And he shows us his fucking niche website, and it's, I'm not going to say the domain, but he's in the hair and nails niche. It's just so funny. He was the last guy you think would ever be in the hair and nails niche. fucking brilliant story. But hey, listen, Holly Starks is in the hemorrhoid cream niche.
Yeah.
So you just never know what niche people are operating in. But Ryan had some thoughts about that. You need to know what you're going to do in a year. You need to update them, fix, cannibalization, etc. So balance maybe. That's the thing, Mario. When people launch content, throw 600 articles up, they forget that there's content pruning. Some of it's not going to stick. End of story. It's just not. You have to go and update, tweak, tune, call it what you like, fine tune stuff. You know that's part of the process as well. So cannibalization and everything. So I think that there has to be that balance. You can't just whack up 600, and it'll probably take you fucking a year just to sort out the mess you've created. You know, by throwing up the initial 600. So I think balance is important.
That's right.
Tonya, why did you choose to do affiliate or client SEO and not make your own SaaS? For example, for me, when I went from client SEO to affiliate, I initially worked with a lot of SaaS companies, including SEMrush. Back in the day, it didn't even cross my mind. Why would I go into competition creating a SaaS when SEMrush have already done it and I was getting 40% recurring monthly? I am an SEO guy. I'm a marketer. I'm not a fucking SaaS guy.
Crazy, not dumb. No.
But in hindsight, I see a lot of guys creating tools and you know, amazing things. And yeah, one day I would love to have a tool that had my name on it, but it's just coming up with a unique idea that not everyone's done. You know, can I come up with some link building automation thing or internal linking tool or something? Of course I could, you know, but there's a whole bunch of them out there that work. So why would I want to try and come in and offer similar? So the way I look at it is everyone I know that has a SaaS tool or whatever is pulling their hair out with developers and the time and the costs and everything else. I can avoid all of that and still take a chunk of cash home doing affiliate. So it's all about working smart. And I'm not smart enough to make SaaS stuff, but I'm smart enough to know that I probably don't want to and don't have the experience. So you, Chris, you've messed around with tools and stuff, right?
Oh,
developers and all that shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The SaaS, yeah.
The idea is one thing, but trying to piece it all together, and then you've got all that API bullshit and all that stuff that goes on in the background. You start to just run into
issue after issue after issue, and then it's money, and plus you don't know how the back end's working, so it's always you got to get outside sources. There's a lot of pieces. Then managing the customers, and then it's
support. It's the support system for a SaaS tool is hell as well. So
there's so much that the tools are very, very difficult. Yes,
I'm struggling to see the benefits actually.
Like the money looks good, but like what it takes to reach the finish line and then keep it on the finish line, like keep it running. And then as you scale, there's more issues. Like it's not for everyone. As far as affiliate, you know, as long as you have the skills, that's a very good avenue. And then clients, there's a lot of problems, but yeah, I don't know. Why did you is that why you dipped out of the client stuff? There are headaches that come up.
Yeah.
You know, but
I dipped out of clients. I had the agency for 9 or 10 years. I don't think you can work like so right now, Chris, you know, you're doing a lot more work, you're always busy, you don't answer your phone, you're stressed out. There'll become a time, whether it's in another 3 years, 5 years or whatever, after 10 years, dude, I was broken. I was fucking broken. Had nothing left in the tank to give. I was just
like, I'm good.
There's a time span on that shit. And you know, you start to lose patience and all that kind of stuff, and you start becoming someone who you're not. You know, I was pretty rude to certain clients and things like that as well in the end, you know, just getting frustrated. And yeah, you got to own up to your weaknesses and stuff. And I just had enough. And a lot of it was my own fault. I didn't have the right systems. I was charging too little, didn't have the right clients and all that stuff. In hindsight, looking back, you know, things would have been different. But as I say, if you find a way of making money, stick to it. People can do very well with agencies and you know, all that stuff, but it wasn't for me personally. So
Sure.
that's how it dipped out. But Hassan,
yeah.
Hassan, what is the most effective way to obtain backlinks through digital PR? Are there any alternatives to Harrow?
So, I mean, I think investing in a tool such as Muckrack in order to have access to specific journalists can be worth your investment. I tried that Prowly or Owly or something. Not too fond of that. I do enjoy Muckrack. I think having a system that can consistently put out those pitches at a rapid rate is still a viable solution. I know this guy, Randy Rodet, over at 38 Digital Market that does an excellent job. So does Madge. I think these are all viable solutions. But I mean, you're limited. You know, I mean, what other avenues are there, Craig? You know?
I mean, you're limited, you know, out with just doing cold outreach and being really creative to the journalists, creating these crazy, wacky stories. And I know Carrie Rose is shit shit hot at that stuff. She, you know, if you listen to a few of her stories in terms of the creativity, in terms of how she gets digital PR, coming up with some mad fucking crazy idea and then pitching it to it's how you pitch it to the press. They will eat that shit up all day long. So unless you're a creative person out with Harrow or looking on Twitter for all the kind of journal request hashtags and all that kind of stuff, or doing all the stuff that Chris said, I don't think there's a huge amount of other options for you in terms of digital PR. I do know that if I want an article in some of the top publications in the UK and I want it to say Chris Palmer's this, Chris Palmer's the king of SEO, Chris Palmer, you know, won awards, whatever I need that article to say, I can pay for it. You know, the money talks. So that's the reality of it. You know, you can get in anything and it can pretty much say anything if you've got the right money. So that's the other alternative. But yeah, there's not a lot else other than that, unfortunately.
Oh,
there was.
Maybe on it.
Vassal, how to decrease my spam score? Should I disavow all the links that SEMrush shows AS0? Is there any other way to see which links are bad from a site? So on this, Vassal,
I get this
SEMrush or not Google.
That's right.
They come up with a calculation. If SEMrush feels that you use a money keyword as the anchor text, then it's going to be marked as potentially toxic. Do people use exact match anchors with their links? Of course they do. Are they passing value? Of course they do. So you need to be careful. But of course, looking at something that's got low authority score, I would potentially, I mean, I wouldn't disavow it. I just wouldn't bother my arse. It's not passing any real value to you. But I wouldn't be going out just to do a disavow just because SEMrush says something's potentially toxic, is what I'm trying to say. So
for sure. And SEMrush, they're feeding you the data. It's raw data in a beautiful interface. They're looking at, they had that post. They're looking at like 62 different things. like, oh, these are matching IPs. Oh, the anchor text. It could be like one of 60 things, and then it goes up on the score, right? They're just giving you the data. I think it's for you to decide and take a look at. If you're, as the webmaster, take that data and then you decide. I wouldn't just blindly go in there and clean it up. I would take a look at, well, are these sites linking to non-relevant things that are potentially harmful or safe search blocked? Is this a link network? Is it clearly evident it's a link network? Am I sitting on the same IP ranges? I would divulge into that data. Don't do it blind, brother. Yeah.
Robert is asking, can you recommend someone to help build them a great service business website with great SEO, but also look very aesthetically appealing? Do you do web design, or can you recommend anyone, Chris?
Nope, but on my new projects, that's exactly what I'm doing. Yep, I never really cared about that type of stuff, but CRO and UX is massively important for conversion, especially on landing pages. So not somebody that I want to share publicly because I have a few projects for them. However, on SEMrush, they list out some pretty good reputable vendors. I would take a look there. I'm not giving up my guy. I just got a really good guy to build out stuff.
Dude, the last time I shared a vendor with somebody, the person gets stolen from me. You know what I'm talking about, Chris.
For sure.
The Harrow person got whipped right out of my hands to the point where no one else could get any more links. So that was Andy, by the way.
I got somebody new.
Offer them up, Chris. Send me their details.
I'm not sharing that one with anyone. That's just for law firms. If it's for law, I got you.
Thoughts on social media platforms ditching short form content? Is TikTok about to die? They already changed the video limit to 10 minutes. The video limit in TikTok has been 10 minutes for some time. For a number of years. So I think, it depends on the content. If you're educating, sometimes it needs to be longer. If you're doing something funny, it needs to be short, sharp, and quick. So I don't think social media platforms are ditching short form content. I just think you need to do better with your content is the honest answer. Offer up what people find interesting.
And I really, even if they're on a slight decline, out of their 843 million users, I think they're still going to be, it's going to take them a while to have a big decline. And once they get declined to a certain amount, I would assume that there would be an acquisition of some sort. I don't think they're going anywhere.
But guys, we are out of time. Kevin Holloman is asking what type of service. It's a beauty industry. Maybe two guys could connect if you can offer that, Kevin. Fahad,
Free link.
Too loose a question. What's an easy way to get a client and how to get powerful backlinks for free? All I can really say, this is the last one we can answer today. There is no free powerful backlinks. I'm the first guy at the fucking front of the queue if there is.
I'm second.
And what's an easy way to get a client? There is no easy way. Demonstrate knowledge, expertise, videos, social media. That there is no real easy way to do it. I've done this stuff and speak at events for the last 7 years to be able to try and get an easier into clients. So unless you're prepared to go and hustle and try different stuff, pick up the phone, email, network, LinkedIn, do all of the stuff. It's a hard grind at the start. It's
very difficult.
I wouldn't lie and sit here and say it's easy because it's not. I've been on the other side looking for work, and it's certainly not easy.
And the big jobs are always referral. It's just getting those initial clients in the door. The referrals is where the good clients get a good client, and then they have another good client referral. Then you pick up another one. Oh, another good. That's where it comes from. You'll get all kinds of people in the $100 to $500 range, but when you're running an agency and you need somebody that has budget to actually perform your job to the best, you need a higher budget range, and those are far and few. Very hard to acquire those types of clients. You got to really, you got to prove it. So,
but on that note, guys, we are out of time. Chris's website, guys, not available. Working through Chris. I don't think Chris, is he? He's just for your projects, right?
I have a few new projects coming up, and now I want to make sure that they are beautiful. I'm making sure this time. Yep.
That's him being polite, saying no chance, Robert. Would I ever share my web designer with Chris? Nah. And I'm good friends with Chris. Because he's just going to rob him alive and steal him from me, doing my shit. So people are not going to share that, I don't think. But there are web design agencies and stuff out there. Just need to dig around and see what suits your budget. But on that note,
try Rank Fortress. There you go. Rank Fortress, Outsource Sharks. Those guys crank out sites for a fair price.
Yeah.
They'll do what you tell them to. Try them out.
Try them out, yeah. But finally, do check out 38 Digital Market, who provide an amazing press release service. The link is below. Tell them that Craig and Chris sent you over. And do like and subscribe to this channel, but equally go and check Mr. Chris Palmer SEO out on YouTube. Chris Palmer SEO. What the fuck does it mean now? Chris Palmer Marketing.
Just search Chris Palmer. It is Chris Palmer Marketing, but Chris Palmer SEO. That'll bring up everything. Yeah,
go and search for Chris Palmer SEO. Give him a like, subscribe, hassle him for services, and Robert even hassle him for a bit of web design. Perseverance pays off. But on that note, guys, we'll catch you at the same time next week.
Thank you.
See you later.
See you guys.